We are here to calm you down because I know everyone is very, very nervous about Pesach, and we're here to prepare you as much as possible to handle it really, really, really well. Okay. If everyone could just mute themselves would be great unless you're speaking. So let me just do mute all. Okay. Okay, mute all. Okay, so we're going to start with a couple of perspective things, practical things, and then we'll open it up to questions. So in terms of why we do this every year, just a little perspective wise. So Pesach is the only holiday, if you think about it, that takes over your life before, during, and after Pesach, right? Most holidays just take over our life a little bit, maybe during, certainly not so much before and after. But Pesach, there's so much prep before and so much getting back to real life after, like restocking the house, getting the Hamoed, sending everyone off, whoever came to visit, right? So traveling back, whatever it is, right? Opening up the cabinets that we sealed. So there's so much before, during, and after that it's literally like it's so important to prep, and it's also very, very mentally and physically challenging. Okay, if everyone could just please mute themselves. Perfect. Okay, so a couple of suggestions before, meaning we're not even talking about Pesach yet. Like we said, it takes over your life even before, which is now. So a couple of suggestions for now. This is this time period. First of all, try to keep everything as regular as possible, meaning I know that you want to have your house clean already. I know you want to have a chametz-free environment. I personally made a huge mistake and got a car wash this past Wednesday. Okay. Sometimes I eat in my car. I eat my yogurt and my granola while I'm driving to work. It was a mistake. I did it way too soon. Now it's like I'm like about to go in the car with my yogurt and granola, and I'm like, oh, I can't eat my yogurt and my granola in the car. I can't have a tab muffin in the car. So whatever could wait, try to wait, because it's better to imitate a regular lifestyle, your regular diet now as much as possible. I want to also say that you don't have to feel bad about ordering out or buying out, meaning I'm not even just talking about money wise, I'm talking about diet wise. So normally, of course, it's better to prepare food. It's better to make food yourself because you know what's in it. But right now, if it's between eating grilled cheese sandwiches on white bread with the kids or ordering something that, yes, it may be more oily, it may be prepared a little differently, but you're doing your best and ordering the right thing, go for it. You know, that's still better. Okay, so definitely order out. Also keep things simple. Someone just asked me today in a session, she said, I want to get creative with my breakfast. Like, give me creative breakfast ideas. And I said, I don't mind giving you breakfast ideas, but I don't think this is the right time. Like right now is a great time to keep things simple. Whatever works, you just hit repeat. Like, you know, do it again. Like hit auto and repeat. Like if your yogurt and granola has been working for you for the last year, this is not a good time to get creative and start making, I don't know, fancy, whatever it is. Like right now, we just want to do what works. Okay. Also keep in mind, like if you were going into a big financial expense, right, which I think we could all relate to with Pesach. Pesach is a big financial expense, not just figuratively, literally, right? You would try to save up as much as you can ahead of it, right? So just because a big expense is coming doesn't mean we start spending in advance. So this is our time, like let's say we have 10 days where we want to try to be as on track as possible. Okay. So that's a little bit about the perspective and the before. Oh, one more thing to do in advance is to now, not at the Seder, but now find out what exactly is the minimum of matzah and what exactly is the minimum of grape juice or wine that you need to eat and you need to drink. Because what happens is people get to the Seder and then they feel like they're probably not having enough. So they end up just eating too much and because they're afraid they're not having enough. So find out in advance, you know, like I wouldn't know the answer to this. You need to ask a rabbi or whoever you ask, what exactly is the minimum that you need to have? And some people, it's even a great tip, like just to make the Seder run smoother, is they'll weigh it in advance. They'll weigh the matzah and they'll figure out how much to have and they'll bag it in plastic bags and they'll distribute it that way. Like this, everyone knows that they're having enough. And a great tip with grape juice is that you're supposed to have most of the cup. So a cup could be a cup, right? A cup could be, a cup. So people will go out and buy the smallest becher that there is, so that most of the cup is not a cup. Most of the cup is a small cup. So do this in advance, because you can't do this once it's Pesach. You got to do this in advance. Okay, so that's in terms of the before. Jenny or Devorah, anything to add to the before we go into Seder? No? Okay. Okay. In terms of Sedarim, Jenny, you want to do that one? I don't hear you. Wait, I have to unmute you or unmute yourself. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So wait, somebody just wrote that the phone ID does not exist. I mean, I see a lot of people joined by phone, so
Yeah,
it definitely
enter.
Yeah.
Make sure
So
you're entering.
I told them that. I told them I see people are here on the phone, but then this is on the text chat from what's it called, from the 14-day challenge. So maybe if one of you have access, because 2 people said that they tried and they can't get on.
They need to make sure they're entering the meeting ID number first and then the passcode, not just the passcode.
But there's no meeting ID when you call. It's just a passcode.
No.
The
There is a meeting ID. It's the 844. No, like if you look at if they look at the invitation, you'll see it. It's labeled meeting ID, and then enter that 6-digit passcode.
So sorry,
okay.
Again, what should I tell them?
Okay, so the meeting ID is 849-830-2808. 849-830-2808.
So the meeting ID, then the passcode?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
And then passcode. Okay. Okay. Fine. So Jenny, go for it. Guidelines in the Sedarim.
Okay. So the guidelines for the Seder, like you said, find out how much matzah you need to eat for when, so that way you're not sitting there stuffing your face with unnecessary matzah. What types, spelt versus whole wheat. So spelt is a good option for people who have a little bit more of a sensitive stomach. It could be a little bit of a lighter option. However, the reality of whole wheat is that it is higher in fiber, lower in calories, and as a result will keep you more full for longer. How much wine or grape juice, same thing like you said before, find out what that minimum is and make sure that that's what you're drinking. If you're using grape juice, it's better that it's light grape juice or diluted regular grape juice, like that. Light dinner before the Seder. Basically, when you're at the Seder, dinner is not till way late. So if you wait until then to eat, you're going to be extra hungry by Shulchan Aruch. And even before that, you might find yourself wanting to eat more matzah than necessary. So if you eat something substantial prior to, that's like a normal filling dinner, you will totally avoid this problem. It's super, super beneficial, worth it completely.
Okay. Before I go into the Yom Tov meals, I just want to remind you that we have to just differentiate between what we can and cannot control. So the things that we cannot control is the fact that, it's a 3-day Yom Tov this year, that it ends on a non-convenient time. Like Thursday night is a very hard day for it to end, like for all kinds of reasons, kids, practical, diet, right? But like no one asked us, like it wasn't our option, like the calendar is the calendar and that's the way it goes. We can't control that. We can't control the fact that meals are very late at night. We can't control the fact that we have to wash and that we have to have the different things from the Ka'ara. Like those are things that we just cannot control. It's not up to us, right? But then there are things that we could control, and those are the portions that we choose to have, the choices of what we choose to have from within the other things like the foods. Drinking water is always up to us. Being on track, Chol Hamoed, and even before Pesach, that's up to us, right? Cooking healthy options and making vegetables, whatever vegetables it is that you would eat, that's up to us. So just try not to like just label it all as like whatever. There's nothing I could do. Like try to differentiate between what you can and cannot control. So having said that, about the Yom Tov meals, basically, I'm not meaning aside for the Sedarim, so you have your minimum matzah, whatever you need to wash, which you're gonna find out in advance. And just like on Shabbos, you're gonna have either one protein or a combination of two, and vegetables. So for those of you who don't eat vegetables, there's gotta be a vegetable that you do eat, I'm sure. So yes, I get that you'll be so sick of it by the time Yom Tov is over. I get it, but that's something that you cannot control. That's a perfect example of something you cannot control. So you just have that vegetable over and over and over and over, if that's what you got to do, and drink a lot of water.
It.
Stay full. Right, no choice there. And then for dessert, you can have your fruit, your treat, whatever it is, and then you have your budget, just like on Shabbos, of snacks, fruit, treats to be used throughout the day. I want to remind you a great tip that you may or may not know, and that is that even if for some reason you do not have to get up at all, which is rare, you know, most people are serving or whatever it is, but let's say you're a guest and you don't have to get up. Everyone's telling you to sit, 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 they're hosting you. Pretend you have a reason to get up and get up. By getting up, you're going to change the scenery. You'll come back. You'll be less tempted. You gave yourself a little visual, mental, physical break from sitting at the meal for a long time. So get up, even if you don't have to. Okay, Chol Hamoed. Okay, Jenny.
Okay, so general guidelines for Hamoed. A lot of people do not write on Hamoed. We know that, but most of us do text. So you're more than welcome to text your food log to us if you want to, but really it's more for yourself. I like to keep it in notes on my phone. I do this all the time, all year long. Breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. Just write it in those notes. Or if you don't have a smartphone, just like, send a text message to yourself. If you're going out for when you go on Hamoed trips, right? You would not leave without food for your kids. You're not going to do that. The same way that they need food, so do you. You've got to be prepared. You've got to have it with you. It's going to make the whole experience so much better. And you don't have to have matzah, like when you are having Hamoed meals, whether you're out or you're in, there is the option for potatoes. If you're Sephardi, there is the option for rice, or we said peas, right?
Beans, peas, yeah.
But whatever, meaning, or if you are brave enough, you can skip the starch with your meal. Protein and vegetables goes a long way, but the less matzah over the course of the week, obviously the better off you're gonna be.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, now I want to just talk about some of so if you did not get the huge Pesach packet that is in your email, it might be in spam, then definitely message us and let us know. We'll send it to you. But what I did was I picked like just a few of my favorite tips from the packet. There are so many good ones and you should really read it, but I picked some of my favorite tips just so I could go over them. One is getting dressed. Okay. So getting dressed, like I always say, I know you always all see me dressed because I get dressed for work, but trust me, I know it's hard to believe. The last thing I want to do when I don't have to get dressed is get dressed, right? Like it took me so long to like finally start looking normal on Friday night because I realized it makes me feel better. But it just changes so much. Like when you just put yourself together, put on a sheitel versus a snood, put on something with an elastic band versus like a slinky, whatever, you just feel different. You feel like a mensch. So automatically you'll eat better and you'll make better choices. So even if you don't have to get dressed, get dressed. Another thing is to get yourself things to read. Like I'm sure you all thought about like how your kids are going to be entertained. So you got them puzzles, books, games, whatever, right? And what about for yourself, right? Like your magazines are going to finish pretty quick. So I just went and ordered myself some books to read, but definitely something to distract you from just eating. Another thing is schmaltz. So many people use schmaltz. For those who don't know what that is, that's chicken fat. For people who don't use oil, they use schmaltz. So a great tip with schmaltz is you buy yourself an empty bottle, like even like a hairspray bottle in the 99-cent store, and you put the schmaltz in the spray bottle. This way, when you're using it, you're just spraying instead of pouring oil, and you'll save so much on the calories, on the fat. Also, as a reminder, you can cook on Yom Tov, so you don't have to feel pressured like, I better make everything for myself now or forget it. I'm just eating what everyone's eating. You could cook for yourself on Yom Tov as well. So, by the way, if you don't have our gluten-free cookbook, which has a whole Pesach section and a bunch of recipes, you could get it. It's on sale for $25 at all the locations. So it's a great time to get it. And you could totally cook yourself stuff on Yom Tov. Another tip that I love saying is gedarim. Okay, so gedarim / boundaries in English, but gedarim is just like a better way of saying it. So basically, when you think about Pesach, unless you're really super limited, the sky is the limit. Like there are just so many options and so many opportunities to do well, but also so many opportunities to stumble. So what I say about gedarim is that make yourself a certain list of things that no matter what, you are not going to go into that realm. So some examples might be kugel or desserts or sugary drinks or matzah on Chol Hamoed or whatever it is. You could pick your own things, but those are your gedar, meaning maybe you'll do too much protein. Maybe you'll eat late at night. Maybe you'll have like this one dessert that you've been waiting all year because it's your favorite Pesach dessert. But kugels, you're not having. Like just some sort of gedar versus like free for all, anything goes.
And one of
Okay.
the favorite parts about this tip is that it really strengthens that muscle of showing yourself what you're capable of. Like if you say, like, it doesn't have to be anything so dramatic, but like, okay, like, I mean, to me, no kugel is not necessarily so dramatic. So if I would say no kugel, like, even if it's not so tempting, it still proves to me that if there's something that I want to do or not have in this case, like by saying I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. There's no, like, that is it. And again, it proves to you that like, okay, I can really handle what I either thought I couldn't, or even if I thought I could, like I'm doing it. And it sometimes manifests itself into other areas also, which is really cool, but you got to try it in order to see it work.
Right. 100%. 100%. Okay. So now we're going to talk about like exceptions / like headers, so to speak, that you could give yourself. Okay. So these are things that normally we say not to do or we recommend not to do, but because it's that kind of situation where like good enough is good enough, it's okay. So I'll say a few and Jenny will say a few. So one is, as many of you know, because many of you are on the plan, we recommend not having meat more than twice a week. So if that's what right now during this time before Pesach and on Pesach, if you're having meat more than twice a week and that's your worst issue, no problem. On Shabbos, we have a budget where you can have your snacks, your fruit, your treat in any order, right? As opposed to during the week where it's at a specific time, right? So if you need to use this budget on Chol Hamoed days or on now pre-Pesach days, as opposed to eating things in the right order, just don't go outside the budget. Also, normally we recommend weighing your proteins if possible, whenever possible, but it's hectic now. And on Yom Tov, maybe you forgot to get yourself a new scale. Okay, just eyeball it. Jenny, you want to say a few more?
Yeah. This week, if you need to have pizza and sushi twice this week, it's totally fine. In general, even when clients are on super strict plans, I usually say like, have your pizza, have your sushi, because it's so important to have that flexibility to feel human. So this week, if you need that twice, go for it. Bread at night, if your family's having bread, if that's what's convenient for you, go ahead, have bread for dinner. Try not to. It's still better not to, but if you need it, again, it comes down to like this idea of heter. It's not, the best, but it's not the worst either. If you do need to use your treat as like a kind of decompress from the work, that's fine. You can have your treat every night. I usually recommend trying to pick a better treat, like a diet ice cream. A diet ice is something that's generally low calorie, really not too heavy at all. Using the max, even if your plan was made stricter. So meaning if in general you are on a stricter plan, but you do feel like here and there you might need a little bit more, or 2 snacks and your treat, like go for it. It's really, really okay this week. And go out to eat or order. So like Tanya said before about if your family's eating grilled cheese sandwiches on white bread, it's still better for you to order in something that is better than that. And even if everyone's ordering, or even if that's not the case, if it's just going to make you feel good and convenient to order yourself something nice, as long as it's something relatively on track, feel free to do it. In general, we wouldn't recommend it because maybe it's a little more oil, a little more whatever. But this week is really, really fine.
Okay.
Tanya?
Okay, so explain this concept of good enough with just like a quick analogy. So I once heard a parenting class that it was like between school and camp, like there was no school and there was no camp, and that crazy time of year when there's no school and no camp. And the person who was giving the speech said, it's good enough to be a good enough mother right now. Like right now is not the time where like you should be like, oh no, they watched 5 extra minutes of electronics, or oh, my kids don't match, or I don't know, my kids didn't have like the most nutritious meals. Like right now it's good enough to be good enough. Like if they're alive and they're not starving and they're not killing each other and they're semi entertained and you're semi not losing it, good enough to be good enough. So there are definitely times in life, whether it's parenting, anything, dieting, we're talking about now, it's good enough to be good enough. And this is definitely one of those times, meaning I don't want you to like just say, forget it, it's too hard and not do it at all. I'd rather you said, let me be good enough. Okay, so we spoke about Sedarim. We spoke about we spoke about Sedarim, we spoke about Yom Tov meals, Chol Hamoed. I want to just tell you a couple of resources. So first of all, we're gonna have this recorded, hopefully. That's always the plan, and it says recording, so hopefully all will go well. You could listen to it even if you didn't get to fully pay attention now, or if you left early. I see a few people left early. If you have not gotten the packet, it's in your email. But if you didn't get it, then let us know. We'll send it to you. In the packet, there are shopping lists, there are recipes, even for people who use very limited ingredients. There's a going out to eat guide. So wherever you live, we have our top picks from restaurants in your area. In case you don't know, we have delicious muffins and cookies that are available at locations and at supermarkets. You need a new water bottle, the water bottle that we sell. You need the new one. If you are using one, you need a new one for Pesach. It's on sale for $12. A gluten-free cookbook is on sale for $25. We also have a sale on pizza. So if you need quick, easy meals, you just stick that in a Betty Crocker. Delicious. We're going to have call-in hours on Chol Hamoed. We're going to be posting it. So if you need to make an appointment, change an appointment, do it. And also that reminds me actually that it's a great idea to schedule an appointment for after Yom Tov like this, that it's coming. Because if you think, oh, whatever, I'll just schedule when I'm on track, like it just kind of like turns into like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, whatever. Like you need to know that you have an appointment coming up and do not cancel it. Okay. Own up to it. Okay. I'm going to just cover some questions that people asked. Okay. So someone asked about matzah, grape juice. We covered that. Okay. So in terms of, I think I kind of covered it, but I'll cover it again, that whatever you do eat, you're going to have to make the best of it. This is a perfect example of something you cannot control. Eat that vegetable that you could eat over and over, right? Make the best of it, right? If you could eat cucumbers, eat them raw, make a cucumber salad, chop them up into an Israeli salad, or just eat the whole thing, whatever. I get that you'll get sick of it. I get that you're limited, but there's nothing you or me could do. Like if that's your tradition, that's your tradition. Okay. Someone asked what I meant in a session when I said that Pesach ends on Thursday night. So what I meant was that Pesach ends on Thursday night, meaning
Yes.
the challenge this year, which also we can't control, like no one asked us how to make the calendar, or I would have voted against this, but Pesach ends on Thursday night. Okay. It doesn't end on Shabbos, after Shabbos, Sunday, Monday. It ends on Thursday night. So Thursday night, you are done. Okay. So really just keep that in mind, because the last thing you need is 3 extra days of being off track. That's a lot of days. Okay.
You're really gonna be so full by Shabbos, you don't need to overdo it on Shabbos. Like, like it's coming again next week, God willing. Like you can have your geschmack Shabbos, then Shabbos right after Pesach.
Right.
Let Pesach and eating be over.
Right. Okay. Someone asked if it's possible to lose weight over Pesach. So the answer is that technically it's maybe possible. I doubt it's possible on a year like this where it's a 3-day Yom Tov and it ends on a Thursday night. It's not the goal, meaning don't be disappointed if you don't lose on Pesach. Maybe if you're brand new on this plan or you have a lot of weight to lose, maybe, but that's not the goal. I think that anyone that comes back from Pesach not having gained weight, meaning if you stayed the same, or let's say usually you gained 4 and this year you gained only 1 or 2,
Right.
that's amazing, right? Like one or two, it comes off so quick. You'll be done in no time. On if I'm a guest over Yom Tov, what should I do? So again, get up from the table. What I said earlier, even if they're not asking you to get up, try to choose the best possible options. Drink a lot of water. And I want to remind you something very important that people don't realize is no one, unless they really have nothing better to do, is staring at your plate to see if you took 2 bites or 25 bites. Like nobody knows. Okay. So even if your bubby is begging you to eat the kugel, or your friend is so offended that you're not trying her new thing or whatever, take a bite. She's not sitting there staring to check if you ate 1 bite or 25 bites. Okay. So there's a huge difference between a bite and 25 bites. Okay. Someone else asked why we're having an M-Sculpt special if you can't start it before Pesach. That's a great question. You should not start it before Pesach because it does need to be consecutive, but the special is a great, great price. It's not going to be this slow. It's basically you book it now and then you start after Pesach. So take advantage of it. Feeling FOMO, fear of missing out. Like someone asked, like, there's so many desserts around, there's so many food options, there are so many things. So for that, I would recommend, I'll have Jenny explain it because Jenny and I think we made a video on this a while ago together and we wrote about it, about being a food snob. So Jenny.
Being a food snob means you look around, you look at what's available, and even if whether it's one thing that's available or 100 things that are available, if it's not worth it, and if it is something that you feel like is going to be so yummy, so worth it, have it. But sit down, eat it like a mensch, enjoy your bites of it. Don't just taste it and gobble it and then it's over. Really, really enjoy it. Be a snob about it. If it's not good enough for you, it's not good enough for you, and that's great. And if it is, treat it like it is.
I'll tell you a quick story. I have my daughter hates shoe shopping. So we went shoe shopping earlier and I bribed her. I know it's not the right thing, but I had to bribe her with something that she would want. And she loves this cannoli from the bakery next door to where we buy the shoes. And I said, if you get shoes, I'll get you a cannoli. I know, bad parenting. I'm why am I bribing her with food? Whatever. That's not the point of the story. But the point is that she got the cannoli, right? And so I said, okay, so throw it out. So she's like, what do you mean I should throw it out? I feel bad. You bought it. I said, no, throw it out, because that's exactly the concept of being a food snob. If it's not amazing, it's not like it's chicken and she needs to eat protein. It's not like it's a vegetable. It's a cheese cannoli. It's not necessary, right? So if you're going to have something, make sure be a food snob about it. Like Jenny said, sit down like mensch and suggest saving these things for the end, because when you have them in the beginning, you just want more and more and more, and you're in that mindset and oh, I already had it, so whatever, as opposed to don't give yourself cravings, try to really, really, really push through and then save it for the last day or two and then enjoy it. And I want to remind you that it's never, ever, ever all or none. Okay. So I know a lot of you are buying eggs right now, right? Eggs is probably the number one thing on your shopping list, right? So if you came home from the grocery with those eggs and you opened it and out of 12 eggs, 1 egg was cracked, would you throw out the rest of the eggs? Absolutely not. You would throw out the cracked egg and use the other 11 eggs just fine, right? So too with this, meaning if you mess up or go off or whatever it is for a minute, an hour, a day, 2 days, the whole first days, the whole second days, whatever it is, right? You just, as soon as possible, snap out of it, stop. Don't go, so to speak, cracking the other 11 eggs, okay? Don't wait until after Pesach, and just regroup and restructure. And as you know, your counselors are all very dedicated and amazing with answering texts and being there for you. So anything you need, text us, whether it's a question, a recipe, support, anything. We always answer texts, even Hamoed, even Erev Yom Tov, okay? We always answer texts. So your to-do list is to read the entire packet, okay? Listen to this recording again if possible, or if you need chizuk, or if you weren't paying attention because you were multitasking, make an appointment for after Yom Tov, okay? Stock up on cookies and muffins. By the way, even if you don't eat them on Pesach, you're going to need them the week when a few days when your house is really chametz free, but the cookies and muffins you would eat.
Mhm.
And plan ahead and just don't worry. Worrying never helps. Being prepared helps, right? Like we like to be prepared, not worried. So between this and the packet and all the resources available to you, you're definitely prepared. So don't worry, do your best. And we're here for you as always. Yeah.
One more thing. And the list of things that Tanya just said to you, like if you didn't, even if you don't watch this whole recording again, go listen to those 5 bullet points, because she just gave you a list of seriously things you can do to set yourself up to be successful. You're on this Zoom, you're on this program because you care about yourself, because you're invested in yourself and your health. And the fact that you're doing that means that, like it or not, you've made this a priority. So those things she just mentioned to do, if you do them all, you are setting yourself up once again to be successful. And that is what this is all about.
Exactly. Okay, does anyone have any questions, comments, anything that you feel we didn't cover? You could type it or you could unmute yourself and ask. Everyone is so camera shy today. Wow. Well, there's a lot of people on phones, I see.
Or you all have our numbers. Message me for
Okay,
the
who do we?
myself ready 757
I'll type it in.
390-5858 and just text me Pesach packet with your email address and I will send it to you.
Okay, I just typed it in the box so everybody could see.
So if you need me, just text me.
Okay, anyone else? Questions? Who feels prepared and ready to conquer this? Anyone?
Oh boy.
So many black screens, so many camera shy people. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
hi, thank you so much. It was really helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's nice to see Jenny's face. Like I texted with you a lot and we probably spoke already.
Right, I recognize your name also. Nice to hear your voice.
Okay. And also the tip about getting dressed, it's like it's so true. It's like not technically connected to eating, but it just, like you said, puts you in a whole different mind frame, and it just affects everything. Like I'm doing the 14-day challenge now, and I realized like so many other things that I just let go in my life that are not even connected to eating, like putting on my moisturizer every day, and I started doing it again. It just affects the way that I relate to myself.
Amazing.
That's so interesting. Yeah, when one of my kids was very little, my kids are very opinionated. In case any of you have seen the videos, you know, and I have a lot of girls and they're very opinionated. So one of my kids, when she was little, she said, when mommy gets dressed, she's much nicer. And it's so true, because it just affects the way we are. We feel normal, and we need to feel normal in order to take care of ourselves. So you can't feel normal looking schmata-ish, right? And I'm all for being comfortable, but you could be comfortable and still be put together and feel good about yourself. So yeah, definitely. Okay, anybody else? Last chance, questions, comments, anything to add, anything of your own tips? Yeah.
And so Jenny, you were saying the 5 points. What 5 points were you referring to?
So Tanya was saying, what did you say? Schedule an appointment, read the Pesach packet, schedule an appointment, get yourself what? The cookbook, the water bottle.
Cookies and muffins, schedule an appointment, read the packet, listen to the Zoom again if you need. Remember that it's not all or none ever. Text us for support, text your counselor.
Okay, got it.
And don't be nervous, be prepared, okay? If your kids were telling you that they have a test in school and they're so nervous about it, right? Yes, you might empathize for a second. You might say, yeah, I get it. You're so nervous. Okay, let me help you study. Or did you study? Or do you want me to get you a tutor? Or do you have all the material? Or, you need to get enough sleep so that you could be alert tomorrow. Like we have to talk to ourselves the way we would speak to our kids, right? Like we all know how to speak to our kids and what to tell our kids. But when it comes to ourselves, somehow we just like forget. So what would you tell your kid if they were nervous about something? You would say all that. So it's really the same thing. Like nervous doesn't help, being prepared helps. So that's hopefully what the goal was for tonight, and with the packet and all the information, that you'll be more prepared, because nervous doesn't do much.
Yeah, the spray bottle thing was also a really good tip.
It is.
Okay, good.
Very
Gonna go on Amazon right now.
Okay. Gotta love Amazon. Best invention ever. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone asked, okay, do you like the egg mushel? Thank you. Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones. Another way of saying it is like, if you get one flat tire, you don't go popping all three. You just replace the one tire, right? Are the Pesach packets available in the locations printed out? So yes, for a very small fee, just what it costs us to print. I think it's either $3 or $4, but you could also just see it on your email, print it yourself. Thanks so much for all the tips. You're welcome. Thank you for messaging that. And where can I watch the recording of the Zoom? We are going to send it out. So it's going to be emailed to everyone. It says recording. Sometimes it glitches, but right now it says recording. So hopefully all will go well and we'll be able to just email it to everybody. Okay. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining. We know that this is like such a busy time, and for you to take this time out of your busy Sunday night pre-Pesach schedule means that you are very dedicated to your health goals and you care. It means that you care and you want to do well. So that's great.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not sure what chocolate you were having on non-Pesach times, because we usually don't suggest having chocolate in the morning with the coffee. Chocolate is a treat. The reason is because it could spike your blood sugar, make you. So really, any chocolate that fits into your treat calories would work well. Or you could a tap cookie or tap muffin. Miriam, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. And peanut butter cups. Yeah. You could definitely do peanut butter cups. That works. You could do like in the packet, there's a lot of different shopping options, like shopping lists and recipes that you can make. Just remember that not to start your day with too much sugar or artificial sugars, because then you're just like setting yourself up for cravings and more hunger. Also, in case you didn't join this 14-day challenge, which is halfway through, stay tuned. We're going to be posting about another 14-day challenge after Pesach. Libby, you're welcome. Thank you for joining. Okay, so thank
Can I
you
ask a
everyone, and
question?
thank you, Jenny. Yeah, of course.
So we kind of go from like 3 days of meal to meal to meal. Is it really important to have 2 snacks in between the lunch meal and the night meal? Like I feel like I have a hard time doing that.
Okay, so that's a great question. So first, let's explain the purpose of a snack, and then we'll see if that answers it. So what's the purpose of a snack is when more than 3 hours are going by without eating, we could get too hungry and slow down our metabolism, right? So we don't want to get too hungry and we don't want to slow down our metabolism. That's why we put snacks. However, on Yom Tov, when we're eating such big meals and there's often not so many hours in between, like let's say you wake up and very soon is already the meal, you really don't have to. You could use your judgment. If you're feeling too full too, and it's not going to backfire where you're just going to be too hungry, then don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't force yourself. Use your judgment, but don't purposely skip it because you're trying to like save up, because that won't work. Like, don't do it to save up. But if you're doing it because you're truly full and like there's just no time for a snack or no room for a snack, that's fine.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Okay, anyone else? Going once, going twice.
Is avocado a problem to eat too much on Yom Tov?
So avocado is a fat. So a quarter of an avocado is a fat. It's not a protein like some people believe, but it's a fat. So you could use it as a fat. Like let's say have your protein, your starch, your vegetables, and avocado will be your fat. Okay.
Thank you.
And someone asked, what would a Pesach treat be? So again, anything that fits into your calorie range of your treat. So we put a bunch of suggestions in the packet. If you have a recipe that you think is healthy-ish or low calorie-ish, I'm saying ish because like I said, we have more heterim on Pesach than we do otherwise. You could show it to your counselor and she'll break it down for you and she'll tell you. Ruchi, you're welcome. Okay. Last chance, going once, going twice, 3 times. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone. And thank you, Jenny, also for joining and giving us awesome tips. And we wish everyone a wonderful, healthy Yom Tov. We're here for you. Reach out if you need, and good luck. Good night.
Thank you.